The goddess of creation in the Greek myth is named Chaos. She's aptly named. What she represents physically is the nebula. The nebula is a cloud of chaos. There is no form to it, no rules to guide it into being. The science on how these nebulas turn into solar systems, well, it's sort of sketchy. Like all science, it is one thing to postulate a theory and something else to prove it. That's because none of these scientists have seen God or the gods as yet. So what the scientists have is this Big Bang theory. Well, not all of them have that theory. But where does this Big Bang come from? From God? Chaos is actually very pregnant, just like a nebula. So we can call this instead the Big Push, as chaos gives birth to the world. All by herself she does this. There isn't a God in sight anywhere. Chaos gives birth to planets and stars. Well, that's what we women do. The word chaos is used to describe conditions that are out of control. Chaos is how we describe the effects of natural events like blizzards, hurricanes, volcanic eruptions, and earthquakes. Chaos is also the effect of human events like wars, revolutions, protests, and wild parties. Chaotic situations that promote confusion can end in violence because chaos is the antithesis of cohesion. When chaos does her thing, she is violent. What Big Bang isn't intense? Afterwards, it's a period of building. Frankly, chaos is the beginning of creation, of creating. Once the chaos begins to dissipate, the building begins, like what happens in a nebula. Yes, of course, it takes a few billion years, give or take, to build a solar system along with a world that supports life, like plants, animals, and us, people. Throughout its lifespan, the world will suffer many small disasters that bring chaos, like in Iceland, as it goes through another period of huge volcanic eruptions. Little towns, the roads that lead to those little towns, and anything else in the pathway of this hot, melting asphalt lava, well, that's all destroyed. Subsequently, there is some chaos to follow it. Sure, there's a building period afterwards, and new ideas may come into play, like how to build differently or better on an island that's constantly spitting out fire. I wonder who pays for this. Do they have volcanic eruption insurance? The same is true of really big natural events, like huge asteroids hitting the Earth's surface. Indeed, our Earth suffers through many naturally chaotic periods before, one day, it will go the way of the dodo, because our sun will go nova on us. We are told by scientists, yes, those folks again, that our sun will belly up in about 500,000 years. That surely gives us plenty of time to find a new place to live. But what about the chaos we inflict on ourselves, like when we decide to have wars? We can't choose our natural disasters, but we can choose our wars, which is like choosing chaos. Let's look at a few bits of chaos we humans have decided to inflict on ourselves. World War I was probably the most devastating war fought in Europe. Its destruction of buildings meant rebuilding. However, what we have to remember is that the destroyed lives cannot be rebuilt. Those who lived through the carnage are forever changed. Those who died,
like the world they fought for or against, that world is gone too.
The old empires, Russia, the Ottomans, the Habsburgs, and China, had been experiencing a certain level of chaos that led up to the conflict. World War I was the time those empires went nova.
Indeed, the entire 20th century can be referred to as a time of chaos. I suggest that in spite of these new forms of government that occurred after World War I, no real peace came from them. No peace had been bought with the lives of those millions of soldiers and civilians that had died. Because in 1939, the world picked up its sword and once again gave us the following.
World War II, the wars between Israel and the Arab League, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Cuban Revolution, revolutions in China and Iran, unrest and several wars within Afghanistan, revolutions throughout the Middle East.
Should I go on? Chaos is really not for the living. Human beings thrive when they are able to have structure in their lives. That's when they have time to think and create and to make a plan. It is true, chaos is a part of creativity, of creating, but that is the chaos that happens in the mind, because the mind is in search of an answer to a question. That we refer to as problem solving, as in, how do I make my business thrive? Once the answer begins to formulate, the chaos dissipates and order sets in, and that translates into taking action. In our civilizations, there is much conflict, with many little wars that threaten to engulf us all. Well, we've been in that place before, haven't we? So the lesson to be learned from history is this: all empires fail. Our modern ones are no exception. It is time to think about this fact in concrete and realistic terms by making a plan and making alliances for the future. We see that happening right now, with many people migrating within countries and from country to country. They have made a plan. Here is another lesson to be learned from that. One we don't talk about, one that isn't discussed in most history classes, and that is this. Migration is a part of the human condition. We all came out of Africa in the beginning 200,000 years ago. Here at the History Desk, we speak about these realities. Feel free to pass the History Desk Speaks around to your friends. Hey, pass it around to your enemies as well. I don't mind pissing a few people off. Ooh, pardon my French.